Liverpool, away to Wimbledon, had Patrick Berger up front once again for the suspended Fowler. Well, this week has been a long time in politics and football, and Trevor's with us to see if this evening's action would sort things out. So first, it's Wimbledon against Liverpool. The Dons had fallen away in recent weeks after their cup hopes were destroyed. Liverpool 10-1 shots for the championship, but looking for at least that second place, which guarantees a European Cup spot next season. At Selhurst Park for us, Tony Gubber.
Paramount among all the mathematical permutations that affect the top of the Premiership, the fact that Liverpool need to win to keep the pressure on Manchester United and keep themselves ahead in the race for that Champions Cup place in second spot. The absence of the suspended Robbie Fowler didn't prevent Liverpool beating Spurs 2-1 on Saturday, so that team is unchanged for this visit to Wimbledon, where they've not collected maximum points in the last 5 visits. Wimbledon have already influenced one issue in the Premiership. They make 2 changes from the team that relegated Nottingham Forest with that 1-1 draw. Kenny Cunningham is back in defence, and Dean Holsworth replaces the injured Leonardson. Referee tonight is Mr. Paul Durkin. So Wimbledon kick off against a Liverpool team who are so anxious for the 3 points after Manchester United's failure to wrap up the Premiership in the last couple of games. 2 draws that have suddenly brought a chink of light. Here's Cunningham back in the side tonight. Holdsworth helps it on. Mark Wright clears, and then Redknapp. This is Kimball. Mark Wright's header. Berger prevents the throw. And Collymore just slipping as he tried to get underneath it. Mark Wright seeing a lot of the ball in this first 60 seconds. Here's Dean Holdsworth in behind the back of Kabame. A strong challenge by the Norwegian. He's done very well since Liverpool bought him. Yet another Norwegian player in their ranks. Free kick. Ardley takes it. Cleared by Ruddock. This is Kimball. Bjornaby's header, but they haven't cleared it yet. Cunningham. Oh, it looked as though Bjornaby blocked the run of Ardley, and certainly Paul Durkin thinks so. It's free kick. Liverpool have just left Stan Collymore up in centre circle. Everybody else back to defend from this free kick, which Kimball takes. Oh, he got a little flick, Jones, but it might have been a hand. Certainly Paul Durkin's moving towards the Wimbledon captain. The ball played from the free kick right under the crossbar. Jones going in, the hand was outstretched, and he's been cautioned by Paul Durkin for that. Thomas. Was ambitious. Ruddock. Wimbledon throw. Such a disappointment to Wimbledon and their manager that they didn't reach either of the cup finals or continue their great form in the Premiership. They've only taken 13 points in the last 51. There's Holdsworth. And that's fingertipped over by David James. Top scorer last season, Dean Holdsworth, with 16. 8 in this current campaign. And only the extended hand of David James preventing Wimbledon from taking the lead. Now this time Liverpool have everybody back to defend. Earl. In by Ardley. Helped on by Ewell. That was certainly bound for the top corner. McAteer. Bounce beats Vinnie Jones. Collymore on the volley! Well, he does that better than anybody else in the Premiership, Stan Collymore. Just teed it up, hit it as it dropped, and Sullivan grateful that he could get all his body behind it. He never needs inviting twice to shoot from distance. Oh, that's played back dangerously. Here's Ewell. Ruddock needed to cover. Gale scraps, and a whistle gives Wimbledon free kick. Jason Ewell, just 20 years of age, making his 6th appearance of the season. Still goalless. With a chance here for Neil Ardley to swing it in and perhaps find the forehead of a colleague. Ewell! Yes! Jason Ewell puts Wimbledon ahead. After 41 minutes, his first goal of the season. A typical free kick into the 6-yard box. James didn't come for it. Ewell won it in the air, and the downward header beat David James. And in a match that Liverpool can't afford to lose, if they're to retain any chance of overtaking Manchester United, they're a goal down. Jamie Redknapp. Fine ball out wide to McAteer. Agonisingly close. And perhaps that time they had finally beaten Neil Sullivan. But they also succeeded in missing the goal. Didn't look as if Sullivan would have covered it if it had been inside the post rather than on the outside. And that's the last act of the first half, which hasn't gone Liverpool's way. They found Wimbledon in typically dogged and determined mood. Jason Ewell with the goal, his first of the season for Wimbledon. And if Liverpool have been missing something in this first half, you'd have to suggest maybe it's somebody with the cutting edge of a Robbie Fowler, of course, who's suspended. At half-time here, it's Wimbledon 1, Liverpool 0. Liverpool came into this match tonight unbeaten in their last 4 away games in the Premiership, 2 wins and 2 draws. But they are required to stage something of a fight back now. 1-0 down to that goal scored just before half-time by Jason Ewell, only the 3rd that he scored for Wimbledon. Kept in by Cavani, and it will now be corner. And the perfect tonic for Liverpool and their supporters will be an early equaliser. Now Bjornaby can take it. He's got Collymore at the near post. Mark Wright starts the run, so too does Ruddock. Away by Chris Perry. Michael Thomas. McManaman. Jamie Redknapp. This is Ruddock. Oh, that's lost by Ruddock. He's given it to Dean Holdsworth. Well, if ever a team are trying to shoot themselves in the foot, you'd have to say that Liverpool are. A match that they've really got to win. Ruddock dwelt on it too long. He allowed Jason Ewell to stretch a foot and knock it into the path of Dean Holdsworth. The shot eventually was somewhere in row 15, but here's Ewell again. Off Mark Wright, corner. Mark Wright organises defence. 1 or 2 players looking round anxiously. Neil Ardley will take it. Gale flicks it on. Here's Ewell. Kimball. Jones is in there. Oh! What a super save by David James. Wimbledon second. Gale's flick. But it needed the save from James, and that's 2 stops by the Liverpool keeper. The second from the header by Marcus Gale, not that difficult, but it was an absolutely splendid save earlier from Robbie Earle. Inside the 6-yard box, just got one hand on it. Knocked on by Ardley. Here's Jason Newell. Checks to see that Marcus Gale has arrived in the penalty area. Cavani had it covered. Ardley. Holdsworth! Oh, fabulous header, Dean Holdsworth. 2-0 Wimbledon. And it's another ball in the air, which has brought a header which has beaten David James. Neil Ardley. Dean Holdsworth in front of the defender. And there's the substitution, which means the arrival of 17-year-old Michael Owen, tipped to be the new Robbie Fowler, the new Ian Rush, a record goal scorer for England's schoolboys, now part of the Anfield first-team squad. There haven't been many memorable efforts. McAteer, McManaman. Owen. He's making a real nuisance of himself. Well, not like handball by Mark Wright, but not given. And Wimbledon in possession. Marcus Gale, that's right. Collymore. Here's Bjornaby, and for the moment Wimbledon have lost Chris Perry. Here's Owen. You couldn't write the storyline better, could you? Within 15 minutes of his arrival as a substitute, the 17-year-old gives Liverpool some hope, and he did so at the moment when the Wimbledon defender Chris Perry was momentarily out of position, having picked up a knock. His first senior goal after so many in the youth and reserve teams. Oh, nice touch by Jamie Redknapp. Here's McManaman. McAteer's in a good position. Here's McAteer, surely! Shoot and then teeing it up for McAteer. It only needed to be 6 inches further to one side than it was, and it would have beaten Sullivan. Mark Wright. McAteer. 6 minutes left. Cavani. Collymore's there. McManaman. Owen! It seemed to run right along the goal line. It just needed a touch from Mark Wright. Launched forward by Ruddock to Collymore. Fear's header. Here's Michael Thomas scrapping. Here's Owen! Well, that effort from Owen came at virtually the moment that the clock ticked its way down to 0. Trying to place it wide of Sullivan, but we're now into time added on for stoppages. And that's the final whistle. It ends here in a victory for Wimbledon by 2-1. But what drama in the end when 17-year-old Michael Owen came on and scored to give Liverpool hope that they could salvage at least a point. They can't now overtake Manchester United, and they'll have to concentrate on winning away at Sheffield Wednesday on Sunday and holding on to that second spot in the face of a very serious challenge, perhaps from Newcastle, dependent on their results. But Liverpool have not claimed any of the points. The final score is Wimbledon 2, Liverpool 1. Roy, you'll obviously be disappointed. The chance of winning the Premiership is now gone.
Yeah, very disappointed. You know, it took us to go 2 goals down to really get into the game, and that's disappointing.
But when you were 2-0 down, you put on 17-year-old Michael Owen, and he changed the game. Somehow his arrival seemed to coincide with Liverpool finding a new gear.
Well, he started making decent runs off the back of people and trying to get in behind them, and you know, he's a natural goal scorer, and you know, maybe the time has come for him.
Joe, did you have any trouble winding your boys up for that match tonight?
Not really, no. There was such an importance to the game, obviously, for Liverpool, and magnificent turnout support-wise for them. I believe 20,000 odd, but no, we were very much up for it.
You were up for it. In fact, you've upset their chances because you've prevented them now any chance of winning the league.
Yeah, well, it's not something that we want to gloat over and anything, but it's always been our principle to give everybody a hard game, and we wanted to finish on a high note, and it gave us a good chance again with being on television. And continue the good publicity that we've had this season. We've got a lot of friends through the type of football that we played this year, and we want to finish now in 6th spot if we can. We have an outside chance if we beat Sunderland, and other results go for us, we can finish in 6th spot.
Yeah, you were up for it, weren't you? Although, in fact, the best you can hope for is to finish 6th, and that won't even be a European qualifying place.
No, but there's pride at this club in the competition, and we like mixing it with the big boys, and today was another occasion for us to show what we can do, and we've gone out and we think we've shown that we can compete, and we're also starting to work for next year now. We're slightly disappointed how things have finished with the season, but we're already being prepared for what's hopefully going to be a good season next year.
We've made a lot of friends along the way this year, but just disappointed that we didn't make the final step to get onto a Wembley stage. But it wasn't to be, and good luck to the teams that have got there. But we're pleased with our overall performance, and we're delighted with how we've conducted ourselves and played well throughout the whole season.
That meant Liverpool were definitely out of the Championship, although they were outsiders to begin with. If they'd started like they finished, they might have got something out of the game, Trevor.
Story of the last month, really. I mean, you know, they've had so many chances to get back into the Championship race and not been able to take them. I mean, you know, they really could have ended up a point behind Manchester United and never seemed to have the zest or that passion to go forward. And, I mean, Wimbledon played well. Oh, it's a wobbly pitch, perhaps not ideal to the Liverpool way of playing. But until the young lad Michael Owen came on, I mean, they were struggling defensively and didn't look as if they were that interested up front. They must have been, but it just as if it came across that way.
And Liverpool, they've continued to give away sort of softish type of goals, haven't they? Most unlike a Liverpool team.
Really, so, and particularly on crosses. I mean, I can't believe how bad defending they are on crosses. You go to Wimbledon and play in them, and you know you're going to have to compete in the air. This was the warning. I mean, there's a near post flick on Dean Holdsworth, gets between, and David James, who played very well this evening, tips over the crossbar. This again is a set piece. You know, Bjornby just allows Jason You'll get in front of him, downward header, and you're punished. And for a side of the quality of Liverpool, this sort of defender shouldn't happen. Back across the goal, look, nobody near Robbie. Again, David James made a lot of ground to make that save, but in the end you felt they're going to be punished again. Kenny Cunningham, good outside run, gives Neil Ardley a bit of time, gets between Kavama and Ruddock, and you know, from 2-0 then it was going to be a struggle, and yet they nearly got back into it, you know, because really of the zest that a 17-year-old gave them.
Now, what about this boy? This was his first showing, wasn't
I like
it, in
him.
the first team?
I do
Michael
like
Owen.
him. I saw him in England schoolboys a couple of years ago. He's very sharp. Over the first 5 yards, he's lightning quick, and he was very confident when he came on. I mean, this very, you know, at last minute or two was a chance. He does remind me of a young Ian Rush. I mean, you know, I'm old enough to have played against a young Ian Rush, and he, you know, finishing, he looks very composed. Look at this, he knows exactly what he's going to do. Ian Rush used to pick his spot, right, just like that. And, you know, his movement off the ball, he's running behind defenders. And even when he got into this situation, he didn't get greedy. On his left foot, back across the goal. I feel McManaman must have just got a touch to take it away from Mark Wright. Otherwise, how could they have missed that? But, you know, in the end, they're going to be frustrated because they should have got in. But over the 90 minutes, credit to Wimbledon, they deserve to win.
Yep. You meant you were young enough to have played against a young Ian.
Well, is that right? You reckon? Okay.
Okay.
I believe you.
Well, now it's West Ham.